Here, I'll track it. Make sure it's on. Huh. Is it going? Well, it says it is. It's not showing it on here. Oh, there's people on. It's like 13 people on. Here we go. Yeah, it's coming on. God. Seems like every day we're getting more people on YouTube than Facebook over the last few weeks, which is cool. So here we go. Hung the Gwen is in the crowd.
Yes, I've just been messaging with her. She's funny.
Yeah? What'd she say?
I think she said something about Jen, can you two wait until we get home in 15 minutes? I think Hung said something about dreaming that she was eaten by a devil or something like that.
She was eaten by a devil?
Something like that, yeah. She dreamed that she was eaten by
I've had several people tell me that we were in their dream in the last 4 or 5 days. Like probably about 7 or 8 people. Yeah. Oh, one of them said we had a baby. I think we had a lot of babies.
No.
You don't think there's energetic babies out there?
No.
Like non-physical babies?
Not from me, no.
We don't have to take care of them if they're in the ethers. It's not like a regular baby. 222. Yeah, I just felt like something happened today. Morgan is in Wynnum, right outside of Brisbane.
Brisbane? Wynnum, Brisbane.
Wynnum and Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where she is. So, yeah, I just felt like something changed today. When you were looking at my hair and you had that look of shock on your face.
I know. It was shocking. Yes, it was shocking because there was more air than hair. You had your hair down and I could see more air.
I know. I told you I was losing my hair. But something happened when I looked in your eyes and I saw your face of shock. And I'm like, what's wrong with my hair? But it wasn't about the hair. It was about something else. I don't know. That's just when I looked back on the previous hour or two, that's when it happened. I was like, and then I was driving down the town. I was driving through the town and everything just started coming in. Like Buddha-esque type, it was just like, oh my God, like I know this place. And I was driving down the main street and had all these Christmas decorations up. And I was just like, I don't know. It was weird. It was like I was merging with everything. So.
Well, it's been a big couple of weeks. I mean, for me, this started on the 10th of November. And I really felt pretty much like a zombie, for that whole period. And then I felt a shift when I woke this morning. Maybe it started a bit last night, but definitely when I woke this morning. And in that period, I felt like there were two of me in one being. There was, any leftover parts of my shadow self as well as the new self. The old self could feel itself dying and felt very heavy and zombie-like. And I remember even asking a few times, God, I wonder if this is depression. Like something's really off. But then there was this other voice going, everything's perfect. Don't worry about it. Don't even give a shit about it. Everything's perfect. So it was almost like there were two of me existing all at once in that time.
I felt like I was possibly going into depression for, like the last week. Yeah. But I didn't feel depressed.
No, I didn't feel depressed either, but I had no interest in anything. Like I'd think, well, I'll paint my toenails, which girls usually like doing. What for? I'll shave my leg. What for? I'll make myself some food. And what for? I mean, my interest, like I had no interest in anything at all. And I thought, God, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to speak to anyone. And even if I did speak to anyone, I had nothing to say. In fact, we struggled to even talk in that period. Quite often we'd last like 3 minutes and go, okay, let's try again tomorrow. But there was nothing to say. There was nothing to do. It was just a real, like The Walking Dead or a zombie or something. It was really strange.
Yeah, it felt similar, like zombie and boring. I felt bored. And I saw other people and heard other people talking about.
But it was a different kind of bored, wasn't it? Because it wasn't like I'm bored, like when you're a kid, or it was everything that you thought to do that you might do to normally distract yourself.
Yeah, it was almost like, yes, it was like you could not use any of your distractions. They no longer work. Food, anything else, anything.
Yeah, everything and anything. And I think the last time we went into the new world, the new grid, we did that cone thing. And after that cone thing occurred, we were asked, would we be prepared to merge with everybody who's attached to the grid already? And we both said yes, and this pretty much started immediately afterwards. And it feels like, because you didn't take anything personally. I mean, some old things or old events would come in and they just go out. There was no attachment to them. It was like whatever. Like total disinterest in life, living, being, doing, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the normal distractions aren't working. They're not working. Like shopping or anything, everybody's got their distractions, right? Like even getting on the internet and surfing on the internet, or watching things that you used to watch that captured your attention.
Yeah, it was a really bizarre period. But the most bizarre thing about it is it was almost like there were two parts to it. So like I was almost like my outer shell was the things that still had maybe some issues with people, events or situations, whatever. And then there was this inner part that was observing my old part, watching these things and always coming down to, so what, doesn't matter, who cares, whatever. It was like there were two parts of me existing at once.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of this too. Heather Nielsen stood in the kitchen and did not know which way to turn. And so I just wandered around from one room to the other doing nothing. A lot of that too.
That too. Yep. Yeah. You just didn't, and we couldn't even distract each other. Like we had no interest in talking to each other, did we? I mean, as soon as I wake up every morning, we connect. And then before you go to bed, we absolutely connect. And sometimes in the day as well. But I mean, that wasn't even an interest.
Yeah, but the few people that I interacted with, nobody wanted to talk. Really.
Yeah.
Like I talked to Anita, Delia, and Allison, for a little bit. And we just started out, like I was telling you, nobody said anything. We were just like looking at each other. And there was a reverence, but it wasn't about that. It was just like, and then when we started talking, I said that, and they said the same thing. Like, they don't want to talk to anybody.
Well, there was nothing to say. There was nothing to say. I mean, even trying to talk, I bored myself. It was like nothing. None of it felt real. It was like, well, what's the point? What's the point in even saying anything or doing anything or?
Yeah. Anything? What's the point? What for?
Yeah. There was a period of, it sort of seemed to happen in particular stages. So, I recall going through a quizzing like, shit, is this depression? Am I depressed? Is this what depression looks like? And then a couple of days later, it was like a real sense of hopelessness. But I think it feels like today it's shifted, and not totally where you've, woken up and you go, okay, it's over. But it's like, okay, when I'm not in that anymore. I had a trick a few days ago. Oh, good, it's over. And I got very motivated and started cleaning and doing things. And it only lasted a day, though, and I was straight back in it. And you kept saying to me, you've got this really odd look on your face.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't do it if I tried, but it was like I just didn't even know what to think. I didn't know what to say. I had no reaction to anything.
Yeah.
It was, I felt almost like an inner confusion. And I do believe it was like two distinct aspects of me sitting there operating and being at exactly the same time. And I got this download about a week ago. My higher self said to me that when you die, you go through this period of feeling everything that you've ever done to another person, you know, consciously or unconsciously. And my higher self said to me, that's what you're actually going through at the moment. But we've shut everything down because this is happening quickly and it would be too much to cope with if you felt it all. So you're going through the process of this releasing and surrendering and letting go of everything unconsciously.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I noticed people's comments on the few shows and when the subject matter came up, and even in people's posts when I was gathering posts for the group, like somebody just said the same thing. No, I'm not depressed, not sure what's going on. Then somebody else said about confusion, because that seems to be part of it, like the confusion. Like this is weird. Like, what do you do? What do we do? Even like the distraction of COVID and all the stuff they're putting on the mainstream media and that's on the internet, even that's not a distraction. That can't distract. It's
No,
like
nothing could hold your attention.
Yeah.
Like nothing could hold your attention. The only thing I was able to do is I've got this dear little dog down here. I'll show you.
Yeah.
That I'm looking after, and like that was the only thing I could do every day is like make sure that I fed her, that I walked her numerous times. Like her needs was the only thing that was a priority. Everything else was, I found myself walking around this place or walking around the streets or whatever, like, now what? Like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah. So, so you do nothing, right? I mean, it was like a period you just do nothing. And then, you know, like yesterday morning, or was it the morning before? I was like, I'm frustrated. I just know I got to do something. But it was weird because the new way of doing something isn't like the way we used to do something. So like just doing constructive things, right? It was, I don't know. It's just strange. It's weird. It's really weird. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, it looks like today it's broken through. And, you know, when energy changes like that, it's always instant. And we're much slower. So it usually takes 2 or 3 days for our slow brains to catch up and go, aha, okay, I understand what's happening now and what I need to do. But, it was a really, really bizarre and strange period. And both of us have come out of it today, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were able to talk for an hour or something this morning, which we just haven't even been able to do in the last couple of weeks.
I know. And I talked to people and picked up from people too that, and I think somebody we were talking to on the show, it was our slowest week in 5 years, but was talking about how, you know, is that confusion and oh God, I just lost it. What I was going to talk about, I forgot. I remember in a minute. What were you talking about?
I don't know. I've already forgotten.
Oh God. But like even going to Walmart, or I went to a federal office, it was really strange. And I noticed too, I was telling you that people have been really friendly, which for me to notice that, I think that means that it's actually happening. Does that have something to do with me, or is it collective? I think it's collective.
Yeah, this period that we've been in, it felt like this much personal. And I'm a huge fan of owning all of it. But as much as I kept trying to, I couldn't. It felt like this much of it was mine. And the rest of it was conscious collective work that we were actually doing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm usually, and I kept trying to, you know, think of what I've got an issue with and trying to bring it all in or whatever. It just wasn't working. It was almost like there was a joint collective crumbling going on. So, you know, another way I felt it was like the outside of me felt like it was crumbling and collapsing, and then there was this inside going, don't even think about this, boring as batshit, don't even worry about it. So every time I tried to grasp to something that, okay, maybe this is a problem, it was like, who cares, don't even worry about it.
Yeah, like why do it, kind of thing. Then you find out all your hair's falling out, and you figure it out.
No, no.
Not you, me. But I remember what people were saying. They were saying that, you know how all along, otherwise we wouldn't be here, but like all through these years, there's always been that underlying that something's going to happen, like something is going on. Like people talk about the event and just different things, right? But like in particular, this last week, people were saying, yeah, this is going on and that's going on and this is going on. But there's this underlying thing that everything is really good and getting better and better and better at the same time. But it's
Yeah.
and a lot of people use the word weird. It's just weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very weird. It was very weird. And for me, it felt weird because it felt like, you know, all this for the last year or two, whatever, it's like you could feel yourself flipping between a 3D matrix and a 5D matrix. Sorry, I hate labels, but that just seems to be a clear way to explain it. But this one felt like you existed in both at the same time. And we were offered the opportunity to let our higher selves or those inner selves, whatever that other part was, to make the choices.
Yeah.
It was, okay, am I really going to go into this and look at this and go and do a whole bunch of shadow work on this again? Or am I going to sit in this discomfort, whatever it is, and wait for that inner guidance to click in or do something or say something?
That's right. But it's the same thing as trying to distract yourself. It didn't work either. Even if you tried to like latch on to say a victim consciousness thread or some old pattern or whatever, you just can't do it. But you don't come out of going, wow, that was great. You know, you just like, okay, well, that doesn't work. Like it was just like, it was almost like a drone.
Like, because there wasn't excessive suffering or anything either, was there? There was this awareness of discomfort. And, you know, the human brain likes to, as soon as we're uncomfortable, tries to latch onto something, a storyline but you couldn't even follow that storyline to say, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. It was just a real period of discomfort, weirdness. Yeah, but anyway, it looks like we've broken through today. So time will tell, I guess, to what's next.
We're not through with this, I don't think. But another thing I noticed too, because you know I keep tabs on everything, is there's been a massive acceleration of disclosure, and of course, you know, like the restrictive programming, but like they're rapidly moving it along. And I'm talking about, like, for instance, anything to do with space travel or space history. They're talking about organisms on Mars. I mean, these are mainstream articles. They're talking about just different things that you know are already there, and they just really picked up on it. And then, of course, picked up on you know, the pressure or the friction from the programming. You know, mostly COVID, but it just doesn't seem to be holding water with people. I mean, that's my feeling. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's having the effect that it's meant to have.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of that are creations from the 3D grid, aren't they? And it felt very much to me like we're extricating ourselves out of that old grid. And, you know, when we give up an addiction or when we give up something, you end a relationship or whatever, you end it because you know it's the best thing for you. But there's still this period of pining or longing for it or grieving for it. It's been sort of like that. I mean, I spent many months watching everything that was going on in Melbourne, and particularly Melbourne, Australia, watching all this. And I haven't even been able to look at any of it, really, for the last couple of weeks. And even if I do, I lose interest so quickly.
Yeah.
It really feels like there's been a mass collective exodus from that old 3D grid. Another way you can look at it is like a mass shadow clearing, program clearing, or something like that. I love that there's a part of you that knows that it's personal, but there's also another part that knows none of it's personal. It's just like a huge shift. I know Franco used to talk about walk-ins, and I always had an issue with that because I didn't believe that all of us were going to experience, other souls walking in. But this sort of feels like, the emptying has created space for higher aspects of our own fragments to embody, to walk in perhaps. And particularly in the last few days, I look at you and think, oh my God, who's that? I don't even know who this is. And you're having the opposite. I mean, I'm looking at you and think, who is this? So I don't feel connected to him. I've got nothing to say to him. And I have had that once before. And my experience in the past is, I'd done enough work, cleared enough where a huge, big, another aspect or soul fragment of myself stepped in. And I felt like a stranger to myself for weeks, actually. It feels like maybe something like that has occurred again, but for many.
Well, that's what I got yesterday. I was just taking a walk or whatever I was doing, and I just heard the soul, the higher self to me is the soul. It just said the soul is taking over. It was just like in case you want to know, this is what's happening kind of deal. The other thing I noticed too was, and this has occurred in the last week. I say in the last 10 days, that because I look at the comments on YouTube because they come on replays just to get a feel and just to see what's happening and just to address each and recognize each one of them. And I noticed in the last 10 days that there's a huge influx of comments on lives and replays that's inordinate compared to past history. And I also noticed that the theme of what they're saying, and what they're saying is, number one, so one thing is the people that are speaking are saying that they've been, following the programming for quite a while, but they've never said anything. I don't recognize their names more than ever. And then the other thing they're saying is that, kind of a double message of, I know that I'm getting everything from myself now, but I like to watch this and some of the people on there because they're just talking, right? They're just having a conversation. Basically, that's what they're saying. But, like it's down to earth, or it's raw, or it's authentic. So to me, that's another thing that I think people are gravitating to, like that program you were watching, the two programs that you were watching, because they're like reality TV, but they're not staged and they're not full of drama and chaos. They're just pure and genuine and innocent frequencies.
Yeah, they were amazing. I mean, I haven't had enough attention to really sit and watch a movie and retain it. And so I found two programs I watched in that period. Two Australian programs. So the one that I watched yesterday was, I think it was called Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah.
And that was autistic people that wanted to find partners. So it was like dating for autistic people. And it was just so joyous and so delightful to watch these adults who have got the mindsets, I don't know, of 12, 13, 14-year-olds or whatever. There was this 30-year-old man on there yesterday, and he went out on a date with this girl. I think she was mid-20s, but watching him, they were like a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old. And the girl just leant over and kissed him on the cheek, and he's just about started crying and thanked her for kissing him. Thank you so much. I'm 30 years old. This is the first kiss I've ever had from a girl. I really like you. And I loved how, they didn't have all the programs running. They just spoke from their heart. They spoke the absolute truth. And I was watching it thinking, God, this has got more code in anything else that I've ever seen. And the other one that I watched was where they put a bunch of kindergarten children, so 4-year-olds, in old people's homes. And same thing, these 4-year-old children just being their beautiful organic selves, completely transformed to these older people that, were in a centre where they've actually gone to live to die, really, but, brought life back to them. And I thought, this is the real stuff. It's the programs that do all the damage. When someone, I remember, the second day that I met you and we walked into the kitchen, and I just wrapped my arms around you, and I looked straight at your mum and I said, I really, really like him. And I can still feel the feeling, and I was beaming, and she sort of looked at me like all shocked, like she probably never heard anyone say that before. Maybe I've got autism, I don't know. I meant it. It came absolutely from my heart. It wasn't all this fluffy, I love him and he's so romantic. He's been buying me all these flowers or whatever, because you've never done anything like that. But within 48 hours of meeting you, and we had been speaking for over 12 months, whatever, but, what was in my heart completely came out. And these reality shows that are based on real stuff, I thought, God, I wish the whole world was autistic. It was just so beautiful. Really beautiful.
And we've watched it and we've talked about it. We've watched it on Soulogy. We've watched it, and you've heard people make comments, and you see people do posts and their own videos and come on the show and have their own shows. And I don't know, there's something's really changed, especially since, are we talking November? It was October? October was like the initiation, and then it, I guess, led into 11/11. But that is the people just, bearing their soul, basically, versus being taught anything or talked at. And that doesn't have to mean like a program like this or anything. I'm just talking about a conversation even. Because I haven't interacted with that many people. But one thing I've noticed is when the people that I have, they're either really, really friendly, and I'm pretty friendly, but when I go out, I'm not real gregarious. Like I was telling you, I went to Walmart, and 3 people came up to me that worked there. When's has anyone ever gone to Walmart and had 3 people walk up to you and say, hello, how are you today? How can I help you? Like, I was like, what the hell's going on here? But you could feel it.
Pimpleton popping out or anything?
And then some people came over to the house because the landlord's selling the house, and even the landlord. Like, he came in, he stood at the door. I was sitting right there. We know each other. And it was like, we have nothing in common. Just, this is the last time I would ever see him, because he just sold the house, right? And he just looked at me and I looked at him, and there was nothing could be said. And he just said, see you later. I didn't say goodbye, have a good life or nothing. It was just weird. It's like really weird.
I think we're all remembering that it's okay to be 100% honest. Like, you hopped on to talk this morning and you had your hair down.
Yeah.
Remember? And obviously had a funny look on my face, and you said, what's going on? What's up? And I'm like, God, I can see more air than hair. And do you remember your response to me?
No. Oh, I said, I love you for a lot of reasons, and one of them is because you're always honest. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So it's we're allowed to be that. I mean, that's the innocence of children. That's the innocence of people with autism. And I think this is what we all need to come back to as well, is just being okay with saying what's going on. I mean, I didn't try to force myself to talk to you in the last week or two. I just had this really strange, confused look on my face, and you went, I can't remember what you said, but you knew, there was no connection. Something huge is going on, and let's not waste our time trying to talk to each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a very interesting period. I really look forward to, in the next 2 or 3 days, of having a, more understanding of like what's happened. But yeah, I really feel like there's been a mass clearing of the collective who are choosing to be cleared.
So, that happened to me too, because I had a show on Sunday and I canceled, and Monday and I canceled. I think I did a show Tuesday, maybe. Wait, was this? Anyway, I only did like two. But the lady that was on Monday, I only scheduled out of all these messages only two, and one was rescheduling her, so I scheduled her for Friday. Yet I got up Friday and I was like, I can't do this, and I felt horrible. So I thought, well, what am I going to do? And then I thought, well, all I can do is tell her the truth. So I told her the truth. I just said, I just want to say I'm really sorry. I said, it's not you. I said, for the last few days, something's going on. It's never happened in 5 years of doing these shows. And I'm just out of sorts. And I don't even know if I'm going to go back on tomorrow or it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks from now. I don't know. And she wrote back, she goes, thank you so much for being so direct. That's exactly what she said. Thank you so much for being so direct and upfront. And, then she had some advice, take care of yourself and drink plenty of water and whatever.
You went in that period, you wondered if you'd fallen into depression,
Mm-hmm.
which it was really, I did too. I thought, God, is this depression? But there was this other louder voice. Well, not louder, but it was loud enough to hear, don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
None of this is even real. Don't even worry about it.
Well, yeah, I didn't feel depressed. I got a little frustrated on Friday morning, or Thursday morning, just for a second, and but I had the sleeping thing. Like I can't go to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep, and I usually don't sleep very long, and then I go through this period of like 5 straight days. I'm sleeping like 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, what the hell is going on? Maybe I'm depressed and don't know it, but I knew it wasn't that, but it didn't make me feel any better that it wasn't that, because I still didn't know what the hell was going on. So,
yeah. Interesting times.
Yeah. And we got a full moon coming up pretty quick, like
right now. I think it's about 2:20 p.m. or something. What's the time? I think it's like happening right now. I think it's 2:35 p.m. today, and it's now 2:39. So it's happening right now.
So it's 11:40 in New York City. It's 10:40 here. So it must be. Actually, when I went out a while ago to get my haircut, which I couldn't get my haircut because I only have 2 haircutters in a city of 22,000 people, which I don't think they actually have 22,000 people here. I was thinking about that. There's something wrong with that. But when I pulled out, there was this like, I don't know, it looked like something out of a scary movie, right? When the werewolves or the vampires. So it was like this band of weird looking clouds, and right slightly above it was the full moon. And Tom says the full moon was at 10:32, so that would have been 8 minutes ago. Yeah, and it just looked really weird. It had this rainbow kind of arc around it. And I thought, wow, there's something going on with this. And the weather's been weird. And a lot of people have said that, not just me.
And we had a conversation a few hours ago, and I was trying to explain to you, it was almost like shedding of a snake's skin. The new snake is within, but the skin is gone, and it's similar to that, or a butterfly and caterpillar or whatever. And I think you walked out your front door, and what was there?
I walked out my front door, and there was this, and I never walk out my front door because I don't use my front door unless I'm going to take the trash out or check the mail, which I do once a week, both. Right. So I walked out there. I don't even know why I walked out there. I just did. And I looked down, and there was a snake skin right in front of my door. That's when it started clicking. You told me about the hair thing, and I don't know why that was the trigger, but I guess what it was, because what happened was the snake thing happened. I get in the car, I'm driving, and all of a sudden I get a download, basically, and said something like, what is the relationship between sunlight and your hair? Because I haven't seen the sun since July. I mean, like I haven't gone out. I haven't had normal hours. I mostly stay up till 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning, and sleep till anywhere from 11 to 2, and then I don't even go outside till it's dark. So I stopped and I pulled over, and sure enough, it was saying that sunlight is great for vitamin D, but also replenishes the follicles and all this. So it was accurate. And then there was something else happened. Oh, because I realized, I thought I got pissed off, and I was like, God, how could you treat yourself like that? It was like my body was like kind of like excited, but Todd was going, in self judgment. My body's like, man, now you know. Now you know. You need, get out in the sun, take some vitamin D or whatever. But it was weird. It was just like all this stuff started making sense. I felt like I was driving around town. I felt like I was just like floating on air. It was weird. It was like being a little kid. It really was. And yeah, and so
So you went out to the hairdresser to chop a bit off to
yeah,
have a little bit cut off. You couldn't find one open. You went out to eat. What did you eat?
I had 2 tacos, rice and beans, and a michelada. I had a michelada, but you know, and here's the thing too. That's a good point you just brought up, because I forgot about this. I haven't ordered tacos, 2 tacos with rice and beans since I was a little kid. It was my favorite meal. So I'm talking about the crispy tacos, the crispy ones, not the soft ones, like the ones they sell at Taco Bell, the fake ones, right?
Like the
So I
ones
went,
we did in Hawaii, like down at that place you had the prawn
yeah,
tacos, and had rice and beans
yes,
part of the plate.
right. So when I was a little kid, that was my favorite food, with the lettuce, tomato, cheese, and the ground beef, right? And I don't even know. In fact, I didn't even remember ordering. I just remember looking at the menu, and the guy came and said, "What would you like?" And I said, "A combination number 10." And so when he brought it, I was almost shocked. And then I remembered, this is what you used to eat when you were a kid. And there was just, so I didn't even put, how I like hot sauce. I didn't even put hot sauce on it. So I was eating it like in that frequency of how I used to. It was really weird. The whole experience was weird from the moment you looked at my hair to the moment, till now. But it's just
And
like
you,
everything felt like something amazing had just happened.
I
What?
knew something had, because we got off the phone and like 5 minutes later you sent me all those photos, laying on the bed and rows between your teeth, and I'm like, oh, this seems for a good night.
Well, those were for you, by the way. Thank God I didn't send anything like without my shirt on or something. It would have been on the news feed. Yeah, that shocked me. I came to put the post up about this show, and I saw this. The pictures popped up, and I
I
see
wouldn't
Rob.
put photos up with you with your boobies. I would
I
keep
don't
that one
have.
aside for
Do
me.
you mean my pectoral muscle? Is that what you're talking about?
Those ones, yeah.
Yeah, I used. Yeah, I've lost a few. I've gone down a few bra sizes since I started juicing.
Mm,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's really weird, and even talking about it, because we haven't talked about it too much. Not this week. We talked about it in the first few days, but then it just kept creeping along. You asked me at one point, "You're not feeling this." There was times I wasn't feeling it at all. There was times, like I was telling you, it felt like a lot of things were presenting, passing through, like when I was on the street. Like I was telling you, it's the same type of routine. But then there was this other part that I wasn't familiar with, which was, what do you do? What's the point? You know, how do you do something? And then the strange thing was, I started working with a new broadcasting software. So and I'd been using this other one, which I haven't used in a long time, but that I'm really familiar with, and having to get rid of that software and start working with this new software. Like there was something about that, because the new software wasn't set up anything like the other software. And I thought, well, that's not a coincidence, because it feels like that. I think you actually said that. See, Janice says you're not the only one experiencing this. I am as well, or as are others. Yeah,
Yeah. Everyone we've both spoken to has been saying exactly the same thing, although no one seemed to be able to work out, was it? Yeah, it definitely wasn't just us. It was a real collective, like it spread far and wide. It really did. And even with, I spoke to somebody who, God, I really don't like some words, but I would have to say that unconscious, or calls me a tinfoil hat wearer, an anti-vaxxer, and all this sort of stuff, which I'm none of that. But I watched them even have some really deep shadow stuff come up, least expected. And so that makes me wonder, all of us that have been doing the work and obviously chosen to do this, I've seen evidence of it happening around, with people that haven't chosen it too.
Yeah, me too. I've seen a couple. I told you about a couple. Something else that happened, I picked up on the last 2-3 days. At first, it entered my mind, and then somebody actually said it to me or wrote it to me, and then I saw it another place, maybe on a post. And I'm gonna try to get it right, but it was like this energy had come at us. And we're not into the us and them thing, but it was like an energy had come that had before, obviously, that had come in to try to interfere and disrupt. And it was a different experience because I saw it. I thought, I see that happening. But again, it wasn't sticking. And it wasn't like I had to like try to avoid anything. It was weird. It was just like I watched it. And then I ended up, running into a couple other people that said the same thing, basically.
Well, it appears that it's either over or it's having a break for a couple of days. Like, I mean, I had that. I had one day a few days ago. I'm like, oh, good, it's all done. It shifted, and I was full of beans and full of energy and motivation and everything. And then, by that night, it was like, no, this isn't done.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of reset, I think. I think there's been a lot of reset happening, but I don't know. To me, I think this is over. Like, but we also have a full moon that it goes right into, and then the solstice. But I think there was definitely something going on, and maybe it's the 12th through the 21st. But if you look at that window, because I remember, was it Hung or somebody? We were doing a show, and it was right in the middle. It was right in the middle. It wasn't Hung, but it was right in the middle of that period, and we were like, it feels like halftime. But it was also because remember when they first started talking about this whole period, it started with December 21st, 2012, and now we've got the bookend, which is December 21st, 2021. So there's a pretty pretty good argument for that. I don't know. To me, I feel like 2022 is going to be there's going to be a lot of evidence, a lot of palpability of what's going on, of what we've been doing all this time, and the things materializing as a result of it, like miracles, like new ways of creating and manifesting, but really actually seeing the evidence.
Time will tell, I guess.
Yeah. And then, Patricia Cota Robles talking about these kids in 2022 specifically, the kids that were born from 87 or since 87, and then having that show that you arranged with where 3 of my kids showed up, and then having that experience, and then actually seeing the comments and then of course having done so many shows to actually see the coding that these young people offer, because it has no instruction. There's no instruction to it. It's just simply a frequency that you're seeing, with eyes, ears, mouth, in the human body. It's just a frequency that that's incredible. It really is. What else? Oh, there's Jin Jin. You can't make up this shit anymore. No. She put up a good post a couple days
She
ago.
always puts up good posts.
Yeah.
She's
What about
on it.
couples? And then Nicole McAdoo's post that when you sent me, that was really good.
Yeah,
That was
Mickey
a
and
good one.
Do. Yes, hers was. I can't remember what it says now, but yeah, that was very good. And I think that was talking about, the death of more ego or something like that, and stepping more in. One of my thoughts this morning was, it's almost like nothing's going to matter at all except us making sure that we're doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
Ideally enjoy, but it's the human doing what the human feels like doing. For creation or joy or fun or love or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's really all that's going to matter. And as long as we're doing that, we're on task or on path.
202 people in the house. It's funny how these numbers have been stopping. When we first started, they were stuck on 144 for a long time. And then it's taken on some other numbers that were kind of interesting. But being that the twos are so significant, that's kind of significant.
Well, I'm going to use that as a segue into something else. We're really, for me, I keep getting this, the couples, and not to say that individuals aren't doing it either, but there's something about two people that are working together in full consciousness and sharing their experience that seems to be really important at the moment. They're human experiences. They're human experiences of what's happening in relationships, either to themselves or to each other, how they're navigating that. And I've had for weeks now, to really start bringing these pairs, these teams, these couples on and start talking about those things, how they've navigated through different areas, how they've grown, how their relationships have changed, all that sort of stuff. So I put a post up, I think about a week ago, Todd, asking, if anyone's in a relationship or in one of these relationship, conscious union of some sort, could they private message me to really start getting these on. So we're looking for that. And I've already started scheduling. That's very excited. Jen said her and Eric would come on New Year, and I'm actually trying to book for January. I'm not quite sure why, but I feel like there's going to be imperative information in there for all of us.
It makes sense. It does. And we've had some come on before. But another thing too, and I was thinking about this with, I'm not going to lose my train of thought, but I was thinking about this with Patricia Cota Robles. So we've done 3,100 odd shows, and the show we did with her, whatever it was, I want to say 6 or 7 months ago, on YouTube only, not all the platforms, but on YouTube only, where we've been on for like 2 years, it did like 16,000 views and a lot of engagement, like a whole lot, like well over 1,000. And but this time, and that took a while. I mean, at first it was like 10, and then it slowly went up over the few months. This one went to 18 or 19,000 literally overnight. And a lot of the comments that were written on that show were talking, well, they weren't saying it, but what I was picking up from it was that basically what she's been talking about, what you've been downloading, what so many people that are tuned in have been connected to, that people are ready for it now. That's what I was getting from it. Like, people are ready for this now. They're ready to listen to it. I mean, I can't imagine, because I saw some comments in regard to her where, people were like, hey, I saw you in the 80s. It's crazy to see you 4 years later. I mean, I can't even imagine, like David Icke, when he was on talking about how he used to go to America and he'd be his speech would be 4 people in somebody's living room, back in the 90s. So I don't know. There's something about whatever's going on to me that feels like people are ready for all this information and this reality.
Yep.
So couples in January, and I mean, I'm sure we'll have individuals too, but couples. What is this? Is
Oh, absolutely.
Sandra and there's Sandra and Alan. What does that say? Let's see. Companionate listeners are revisiting past years to course correct decisions made. Oh, course corrections. Okay. 2022 is 36 years for us meeting. Our twins were born in 1987. Wow. That's trippy.
Yeah, well, we need to get them on too, like as many as possible. And even if they're not romantic couples, but, partners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I don't know. I feel like there's going to be something coming out of their mouths that we're ready to hear.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Bruce. That not everybody can see his comment. Let's see. Only people on YouTube. Morgan can sit in for you, Todd. She might take the show away. Yeah, I think she'd do fantastic. But, people got to do what they want to do. Oh, yeah, that part about what you were saying earlier about, I keep going back to that Franco Kimberly story coming to Soulogy Fest where they couldn't get across the border because he was focused on what his actions were going to be. He was basically, prefacing his own energetic entrance into talking to these officials so he could get into the United States. And then he got turned down. Then he went back, and his higher self told him, "Why do you want to go?" And essentially because he wants to serve, because he wants to be with people he loves, and his higher self just said, "Keep that in mind." So when you said that a while ago, that's a totally different way of thinking than I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this. But it's still that two standing side by side, right? Like there's one that can hear the new energy or is familiar with it or is intuit to it, but the other one you still have this reality and you can't deny that. It's very strange. You haven't made an appearance in quite a while.
I actually don't have much interest in it. You know that.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying, I'm just making a comment. You haven't made an appearance probably since September.
I feel like I haven't had much to say about anything really at all.
Yeah.
I went off Facebook for a month or so, or 3 weeks. I mean, I really don't feel like I've got much to say about anything at all.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I get it. Other than how you feel, like I don't think anything else is relevant. Really, or like maybe did you know this or did you know that? Like it's something that you didn't know that might interest you. But to me, it's just it's like those shows you're watching. What are you watching? You're watching two people explore. They're innocent, they're genuine, they're curious, and they're sincere. And then, I mean, like even the kids that were on my kids the other night, I mean, they're all different, but they were all themselves. And, and maybe that's just another way to look at what we've been, the result of us being conditioned is we weren't ourselves. And now we can be.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever that looks like from now on. But, I hope it happens. I think it'll be really refreshing to hear people just say what they think, how they think. Without these programs in the background running, oh, my God, I've got to sell this or I've got to promote myself or I've got to behave this certain way because this is what a wife's meant to say or do or look like or husband or, all of that feels like it's had a massive stripping away again.
Yeah. To me, it really feels like the things that let's say the more physical effects of all this stuff we've been doing, all this transformation. And I'm talking about the light body. I'm talking about healing. I mean, I'm 60 years old, and I was thinking about this last night. I was like, I shouldn't be in this good a shape. I really shouldn't. I really, when I went on the streets 10 years ago, I got into really good shape because I was walking all the time and I was, you know, but it's still, I shouldn't, I would think at 60, I'd have more than just my hair falling out, although I could do without that. There's Nicole. There's Nicole right there. We were just talking about you, Nicole.
We were talking, yeah, but great post that she put up
Let's
this
see
morning.
what she said. Let's see what she said here.
Yeah, read it out. It's very...
Totally resonate with all you're both saying. We're bored. I've used that word a lot last week because we know on the inside that we could be and will be going galactic real soon. We're tired of being human in this old world. The galactic. Yeah. I wonder what that role is going to end up being. Like, how prominent is that actually going to be? To me, I feel like there's more of a possibility, like with terrestrial family as opposed to ET, extraterrestrial.
God. And then I watched this show last night, Love on the Spectrum, and thought, when I grow up, I want to be just like that.
Like the autistics?
Yeah, like in pure joy over everything. Just pure joy, pure honest, just...
Yeah.
So I want to grow up and be just like that.
I think that's how we started, really. I mean, I know some people were subjected to things at younger
Oh my
ages.
God, I love that. You've got a wee on your head.
What? Who?
Somebody's written here, urine therapy for hair growth. And I know for a fact that, you know,
I think she's serious. Sonia Wilder Wellness. I think she's serious. I actually discovered, because I haven't been in the sun. I haven't been in the sun since June. I've mostly stayed inside and, you know, stay up all night trying to chase Morgan around. But the galactic thing, there's so much is put into that, has been put into that. And then, of course, so much has been kept from us. Sonia Wilder Wellness says, it works. I've been using it for years. I'm serious. You too. Okay. Well, you know what? I believe her. I believe her. I do.
You better put a jug in the bathroom.
If you look at some shampoos, they have urea in it. That's the same thing. It has a little bit of that in it. But maybe I should try that. Now that I've been busted, I'm actually losing all my hair. I'm going to get a haircut tomorrow, though. Yeah. The galactic thing.
You could do like a weekly update on your hair when you wee on your head.
Thank God I had a lot to start with, because if I'd have had normal hair, I probably would be pretty bad right now. Okay, on to the next subject. Hair, skin, and nails supplement pink bottle. Okay. Yeah, because, you know, I'm just going to say you use your old morning urine. Hey, I want to know about this. It says you use your old morning urine. All good shampoos use bovine urine. It's disgusting. Your own urine is biocompatible with your system. Makes sense to me. Well, I guess somebody said golden showers.
Do you put like dishwashing liquid in it so you can soap it up and like use it like shampoo, or you just wee on your head? Like, how do you use it?
I don't think I'd be able to be capable of weeing on my head. That's not going to happen. They're having fun with that. Okay. Yeah, it does look. I feel like we're getting younger. I really do. Okay, so I don't know where it went. I don't know. I guess I'll just have to try it. See what happens. Somebody said this is getting beyond kinky.
Yeah, we might be finished unless you can think of something else.
That you said that exactly at 10000. I kid you not. And there's 188 in the house.
So we've
Yeah.
been on for an hour, have we?
Exactly. Yeah. Right when you said that, it was 10000. Yeah. They're coming so fast, I can't find it.
Well, I don't feel like talking about your hair anymore. I don't
want to talk about. I never want to talk about hair.
I don't feel like talking about being bored. No. Unless you can think of something else. I think.
No, I just think that things are. I think we're on it. I think it's here. We're on it. One more last thing. Wait a minute.
You have to put a shower. You have to wee on your head and put a shower cap on it and sleep like that. And you have the softest, fullest hair, Todd.
Okay, I'm gonna hold her to that. I'm writing her name down, just so I can.
Sonia Wilder.
Yeah, I've seen her before. I don't know if we've messaged. She's on YouTube. So Bruce says, "Shower me with your affections." He's so funny. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. I think. What about
somebody asked about the Uluru meditation on the 21st? I don't know anything about it. I think they do it on the 21st of every year, don't they?
I know they did it last year. I'd much rather do the urine on the hair than the other urine therapy. I'm not into that. And no problem with anybody is, because I know some of you are. But I couldn't do that. The 21st, I was thinking we could do something on the 21st. I just mean we as in Soulogy and whoever wants to participate. That was actually something I mentioned to you last week. We got asked to do something else, and I told them we couldn't. And I meant that we were going to do something. But after what happened the last 2 or 3 days, I'm like, I don't even know if I'll be able to do anything. But that's only what, 2 days away. So that's. Yeah.
Well, 3 for you, isn't it? The 18th for you, so it's the 19th here.
I just turned the 19th here. It's 12:09.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, I'm thinking that we'll do something. Just make it up as we go. I think I'll feel better and maybe even do something tomorrow. I don't know. I feel better now, though. That was rough last week. And I don't think it was last week. I think it was from the week before. And it just kind of went on. And like this past week, it just kind of like, you just couldn't bounce back. That's how I felt. I couldn't, like, we have those rough nights where you wake up and you're dehydrated and you feel like you've been in a fight or run a marathon and you recover. But it just seemed like it happened. I know it happened like 5 nights in a row. I was just like waking up going,
but it was interesting, Todd, because even though all that was there was another part of it, like, who gives a shit? So what?
Yeah. Well, that was that. Yeah.
Didn't fall into anything really deep or cry or suffer.
No.
It was really odd. The bigger part of you didn't care. It was like, oh, well.
I had a lot of heart expansions. I always have expansions when I think about you, but I was having some things happening in regard to you, like the last 2 days. But even before that, I was having heart expansion. And maybe it's because my kids came, or one of my kids came, and I saw 2 more, talked to another one. But I don't know. Even like talking to Hung, I was just like, when we did that show, I was just like, God, Hung, I love you.
She has that effect on people.
I know.
I think she tries to be like a real smart ass, but she
can't anymore. She can't do it anymore.
I know.
She's been defanged.
Did you see her post how when she's in bed with her husband, she karate chops him for snoring?
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me.
You don't sleep with her.
I know.
Yeah.
I just get a push.
No, you get a tap on the back and like, imagine being karate chopped in the middle of the night by Hung.
Oh man. God, there's a lot of people on. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for popping in.
Yeah, I think we're done. We were just going to talk about, I think we were just going to talk about like the unusualness, the strangeness, the weirdness of the last few weeks, and the fact that it seems like it's finalized, or, you know, there's been a breakthrough today. And
yeah, I think that was a good subject, because a lot of those messages too that I was talking about, they talk about, you know, like check in every day, because, you know, I think I'm going crazy, and then I check in on Soulogy and I realize, you know, like this is what's happening. So I think maybe it must come through in the frequency, even if it's not the words exactly. That's what I feel. I just feel like things are getting more real. Like there's less BS and so on. Not to say that we don't have to do some work or make a choice to participate or engage it. All right. So Bruce wants you to know, Bruce is so in love with you. I swear.
Bruce is just and he's not in love with anyone.
Morgan, thanks for honoring us. No, he means it. Lie. I've been trying to get in touch with him, but something's wrong. So how do you think? Now here's a question from Sandra and Alan. So I'm sorry, were you saying something?
No.
I heard an echo. Oh, so do you think that we are hidden in plain sight because we have to be the aliens in the room until we do not scare people? There's some truth to that. I think there's a degree of truth to that.
Yeah.
Not to the absolute 100% literal sense, but yes, to the 100% literal sense. Yeah? Okay, so we're good. We good? I'm good. All right. Thanks everybody for coming in, and we'll maybe see you tomorrow. All right. Hang up. Bye-bye.